Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see you. Welcome to my channel. I am Art Walker, and I am going to show you all how to understand how to draw the basic body shape in different positions. So, for example, bodies in movement, not static. So, first of all, we're going to cover some basic stuff. Like I always start with just warming the pen up like so, with lines, because that's basically what we're going to be using. We're going to be using a lot of lines and a lot of curves and so on, and a lot of arcs and a lot of circles. So this is what I do as a bit of a warm-up. So I know many people might think, oh, why is he doing that again? That's not very exciting. But this is the foundation to everything that we draw, pretty much. Just understanding how to put lines together. That's basically what we're doing. So I haven't got any examples with me. However, I'm going to show you how we can take, I'm going to go quite small today. So I'm not going to go really big. So say, for example, if I draw a simple line like that, this line represents the skull, right? So, sorry, it represents the, excuse me, it represents the spine connecting to the skull, right? So if I was you, I would practice things like that. Practice things like drawing this line to represent the skull, then you add the actual details of the skull to the spine. Do you get that? Do you get what I mean? So if I draw another line and I'm bending it in the other direction, like so, this is the back of the skull here, right here. I draw the dome of the skull here, and then I actually add the head onto it. So this is a good little bit of practice that you can do if you want to just get used to drawing people looking in different directions, in movement and so on. This is a good little exercise that you can practice, and then you can build the rib cage and so on. So usually you're talking around from head to hips, we are talking about around three heads high. That's normally the distance that you're looking for. So that would be 1, 2 and 3 to the hips here. However, this varies obviously because people are of very different heights and sizes, and that can change very quickly. But if you want a benchmark, look for around 3 heads, and then you've pretty much covered what you need to know, and you can work with that. So I'm just sketching that up quickly just to show you how quickly we can create very simple, however effective characters or people with a few strokes. So this is why it's important to understand this. This is why it's important to practice this quite a lot, and it will definitely improve your artwork. This is something I don't do as much anymore, but I should, purely because it's priceless pretty much. Yes, we will be doing that, George. We will be doing that. So if you like what you see, please hit the like button. If you are not familiar with my channel, you know I'm doing this for free. You might realize I'm doing this for free. Why am I doing this for free? Because I want to encourage all to draw. However, if I do help you, all I ask of you is that you help me in return. So if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. That would be very nice, very kind of you, as I'm trying to be very kind to you. So basically it's a bit of a trade-off, which is I think is fair. My skills will help you and you can help me. So that's basically what I'm asking of you. So let me just see, quite a few people in the live. Okay, so let's get into this. So I take it everybody is familiar with drawing the human head. So you have to interact with me. I can't say hi to everyone because there's quite a few highs to be said. Is everyone familiar with how to draw the human body? And if you're not, what do you not understand? For me, one of the key aspects is understanding how to draw, obviously, the spine. The spine is, for me, one of the key areas that you really have to understand. The hips, obviously, are connected to the spine. And as I just reminded you, that we have roughly 3 heads with regards to from the top of our skull to our hips. It's roughly 3 heads. So bear that in mind if you are drawing someone and you want them to look semi-realistic. You have to kind of look at these proportions and make sure that everything is in the right spot. So let's have a look at the messages quickly. Please would be nice. Please would be nice. I don't have patience. This is what I mean, Jojo. This is what I mean. This is so important because it's best that you start like this. You start making mistakes. You understand where your mistakes are being made. This is really important because if you don't get this right, you're going to jump into something really cool. You're going to get despondent purely because it doesn't work. And you know, this is where you have to understand that I call it freestyle sketching. If I'm honest, it's more like a freestyle sketching exercise. And once you start doing it, like now, I haven't done this myself for a very long time. And the idea for me, the art is not that you get it right every time. The art is that you keep moving the pen, right? So I strongly recommend, and if you don't practice this, you're going to be back to the beginning again every single time. Exactly. This is why when posing, for me, the key is to get the spine right? So you have to understand how the spine interacts with the hips. Someone asked me about drawing the hips. I just draw the hips like that. You don't need to be able to draw it in any more detail than that because you're not going to see that. That's going to be hidden away. So if I've drawn the hips simply like that, this for me already looks feminine, right? So why is that? Because I've drawn the hips wider than the actual torso. So now we've got a female body, so to say, right? A torso, right? So you can see that that's how you can determine what gender they are very, very quickly just by drawing the hips with the right dimensions. So what was I explaining? I was explaining that you have to understand how, if you are struggling with poses, you're struggling with the hips. For me, you're struggling with the hips. And you are also struggling with the spine. Because that is important. If you don't get that right, it can make your drawing look a bit odd. And when I say it's odd, it's only because the weight is not being distributed correctly. You have to learn how people stand and where the weight is being distributed. I'll go into that a little bit in a minute. So for example, here you can see that this leg is coming forward and this leg is behind, right? So you could almost say that this person is running towards us. Do you see what I mean? And let me think. I have to think, oh yes, the opposite hand. You have to also think of which hand is going to be forward and which one is going to be backwards. This is all things that you have to sit and work out. I'm just doing that really quickly. So this leg is going back. I'm not going to put too much into it. Just throw it down like that. Should be a bit more like this. Excuse me. October the 7th. Why is it the best day of your life? I would love to know. If you want to prove, you should use a pen instead of a pencil. So if I want to improve, should I would definitely use a pen. I would definitely use a pen, just because it's a totally different tool, and you can gain a lot from not rubbing out constantly. I believe you can really do that. So I would recommend using a pen every now and again. Ankle. An ankle. Yeah, that's not a tricky one. That's not tricky. Don't fall for rage bait. Who's rage baiting now? Is someone already starting something? That's a shame. So let me just have a little scan. That's a shame because it just throws the whole live really. So let me just check to see. I hope nobody's rage baiting or whatever they call it. I have a question. How can you make the face? Yeah, Aldemi, you need to look at your proportion, mate. Unfortunately, you need to work out the proportion that you're working with. I say this all the time, but a lot of what I say is pretty much repeating. So you can actually find that out yourself. This usually is around 8 heads high. 8 heads. So if you draw something and your head on your person, I don't know, is like this, and your body is like this, proportionally you can see that something's not right. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you draw your head too small, you have to start thinking proportionally. If you look at your own body, roughly how big would your head be? You know, your head would roughly be, I'm just grabbing a different color pen. Your head would roughly be roughly a third here between the shoulders, would it not? Do you see what I'm saying? So the head would have to be roughly this big. But you have to start to evaluate these things yourself and not just drawing without thinking of proportion. You have to bear everything in mind when you start drawing, because then you can prevent any mistakes. And it's important to practice proportion, and then you can work without any fear of, okay, this head is too small and Don't just draw randomly. Draw with a purpose, and draw with a goal, and draw also with dimensions and proportion in mind. Like so. You see, that head was tiny, right? I did that on purpose. But that goes to show you that you have to evaluate all of these things. So why don't you use more dull pen? A more dull pen? I don't understand what that means actually. Why don't you use a more dull pen? Why would I use a more dull pen? I don't think that makes sense. Good afternoon, guys and girls. Not sure what that question means, if I'm honest. That's Leanne Home. Not sure what that means. I'm sorry, you didn't understand me. I meant about a face on small heads. Yeah, well, if you draw, like, say for example here, this drawing here, I've drawn a very small head, right? It proportionally it fits to the person that I've drawn. However, it's a small head. I wouldn't worry too much about the details when it comes to this type of head, because it's just far too small. Do you see what I mean? There's no point in wanting to get every detail on a face like this. I would probably take it to around this level. I don't know what hair or whatever I'm going to do here, but I wouldn't waste time putting in tons of detail when the head is very small. You can just use some block shading just to show where the nose and mouth is, and after that you can pretty much leave it. I wouldn't go heavily into detail because no one's going to see it, for one. And if it's something far away, you would never recognize those details anyway. Elio, how you doing, mate? Yeah. How you doing? Yeah, mate, it's not too bad. 20, yeah, but what is that? Someone asked about the ankle earlier on. If you're drawing the ankle, you need to understand the following, right? If you like you've seen me here, I've drawn the foot looking like this. This is how I draw the foot, right? I don't need any more detail other than that. So, as I say, you guys have to do your research, right? Because this is obvious that we can find a lot of this information online, right? But you have to check it out yourself. You have to practice it. And then the ankle simply fits over the foot like this. It simply fits over it like that. So, not sure what more I can say about that, because, yeah, then you are getting into the realms of anatomy. So, you have to check that one out yourself. Yeah, I'm good, mate. Not bad at all. Getting ready for school again. Yeah, so it's all right. Not too bad. Having a few rough nights, unfortunately. But doing all right. Still doing all right, mate. Thank you. So, anyway, like I was saying, if you want to learn, if we want to learn how to draw someone, I don't know, leaning, you have to understand where and how much you can bend the spine, for example, right? So if I bend the spine like that, you have to evaluate, is that a good angle or is that a bad angle? If I bend the spine like this, is that realistic? Is that a realistic angle or not, or a non-realistic angle? Do you see what I mean? This is very important if you're pursuing your artwork, that you bear these questions in mind, right? Always in the back of your mind, proportion. Where does everything belong? Where does the head belong? And sometimes you're gonna start something and it's just gonna look odd. Do you know what I mean? So then you might have to say, well, okay, I need to take a look at a reference, because we are looking at 3D objects for one. And sometimes if we draw something very, very flat like this, it just looks odd. We would also see a little bit of the back here. and a little bit of the rear end here. Do you see what I'm saying? Before it was odd purely because we're not showing everything that we need to see. Do you get what I mean? You're watching it, mate. You're watching. You're welcome. Mate, you said that. You said what? What? You said, what is that? Those are... Oh, I don't know. Yeah, what is that? Yeah, but you know, it is. I agree. I do agree. I'm just brainstorming now. Yeah, but you know my mood. You know my mood at the moment. For me, it's not. It's okay, but it's not okay somehow. What is achievement is relative, I suppose. I've just stumbled onto something. I've gone wrong there. Yeah, I know, mate. I know. It's funny. I was watching a documentary on replacement teachers yesterday, and they were talking about how obviously replacement teachers don't get paid as much as people that have gone to university in Bern or wherever. And it's quite interesting because yeah, 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 not gonna go there. Not gonna go there. Yeah. Not yeah. Yeah, no comment. No comment, mate. No comment. So anyway, let's get back into this. So let's draw someone from the side. So we are going to tilt their spine this way, right? Not too far. We don't want to bend it too far because we're not that flexible. Human beings are not that flexible, especially not me anymore. I used to be. But if this is the spine, right, and these are the hips here. So now we have to be aware of, oops, I've gone this way. You have to go this way because the spine tips in this direction, for example, and then we have our rib cage, right? As you noticed, I had to change the orientation of this line here, right? That is important to understand. This will be the rib cage and the back here going down to the hips here, right? This is very important to understand. From the back, we will have, for example, our hips like so. Oh, that has to be in the center, right? So if it's not, let me just center that up, give it a thickness. So then we add our rib cage, and from the head to the hips should be 3 heads high. I'm going to shorten these hips a bit. I don't want to draw another female. So this here is obviously an upright position, and then this here is the person leaning over to the side. Do you see what I'm saying? So it depends if that's from the back or from the front. We add our shoulder line, which we have here. We can add the arms. I don't know if they're reaching upwards. They literally got their arms up and they're going like this. Do you see what I'm saying? So these are the things you have to practice. Work out how long the neck would be, how much of the neck would you actually see, and then how much of the back of the head would you actually see. You would still measure the distance from here to here for your elbow, so it would be roughly here. And then you've got someone tilting like that in that direction. Let me straighten that up a little bit, gone a bit too far there. But that's basically what you have to understand and start to work with. I might as well stick to this female form, seeing as I've got it there already. Like so. So this is basically the same person tilting to the side. Has anyone got any questions? So let's just go whoop, whoop, straight up, like so. Oh, 17 messages. Has anyone got any questions? And if you like what you see, please hit the like button. That would be very nice. You keep getting bored. Just draw something else. I understand, because I get bored as well. If I draw the same thing all the time, I get bored. But if I was you, I would just draw something else. Or what I would do if I was you, I would just practice something else. Five minutes break. Oh, hey, push-ups. Nice. That's what I do. Floor exercises are the best. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let me see if there are any questions. We'll have to have a press-up challenge one day. Wow, so cool. Oh, good, Foxy. I'm glad you're liking that. No, I don't know, because I've been drawing all my life, so it's a lifelong ambition. So, you know, I suppose it's a lifelong journey, really. I can't really put a date on it as such. Okay, good. I've never done journaling, I have to say. So let's draw a person. As I said, everyone's familiar with how to draw the head. So what I would suggest you do is every time you draw something, try and draw the head with it every time. It's just a good bit of practice for your whole development, right? So here, if I'm drawing a person like this and I'm thinking roughly 3, 1, 2, and then the hips would be lower here. So let's go a little bit lower here. So then I've got my hip position. Shoulder. I don't know what this person's going to be doing. Okay, let's just say they are, I don't know, putting their arms up here. I measure and measure, all right? So it should be roughly to here, like so. And then the arms go up here. So let's say it's some sort of gymnastic type pose. I have no idea. I'm just working it out as I go along. Obviously, the thighs are longer than the forearm. And usually we have around 4 heads. So that should be 2 heads here. 1, 2. So that's pretty good. Roughly around here. And let's put that leg straight out here. Unfortunately, we haven't got any space here. I'm just going to add the foot, straighten it here, even though it does look a bit weird. So if you imagine someone sitting in like some sort of yoga position, this is how you would do it. And as soon as you see that it's all in the right spot and the dimensions and the proportions are okay, that's when you add anything else that you need. So for example, your cylinders, you might add one arm behind here, right? Because we're going to see one arm slightly behind here, right? And let's add one leg behind here. So that makes it look already a little bit more realistic. What else would I add here? Shoulder. Reduce the abs a little bit. Probably tilt the head slightly. And then we've got someone just doing a quite a tough pose actually. I wouldn't want to try that myself. Not anymore. Maybe when I was young I could do it, but not now. Arigato. Oh, thank you, Bronx. You love British food. Oh Lord, what do you like? Chips? Do you like chips and roast beef? You're struggling on poses. For me, the key to poses is understanding the hips. Who asked me about the hips earlier on? You have to get used to tilting the hips like this, right? This is what you have to understand, right? Tilting this way. And I struggle with the hips as well. I must admit, that's one of the things that I have to always work on, right? Because when you draw the hips like this, you have to imagine the weight is on this leg here. I don't know why I've drawn a female, but that's okay. See, because the hip is higher, right? So now we've got quite a cool kind of less, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word, but yeah, I'm not going to say it. But you've got a cool pose, and let's add a face here. Right, and then let's make it a bit cheeky. She's going like this. See, we got a pretty cool pose in under a minute, right? But that's only because of the hips. That's only because of the hips, because I've got the hip position kind of right. All right, so then I can work with that. Oh, I'm drawing over everything as I do. If you don't know me by now, that's what I do all the time. And then we add our cylinders. And as soon as you get to that point where you look at it and it looks good in the wireframe, it's definitely going to look good later on. So feet, yeah, I've done a foot here. I've done a foot. So the same here. Here, if you imagine, if I draw the bone, the hip is here. All right, that is the hip. And then here, that's the thigh bone. And then here, the other thigh bone. Here is the spine. That is really, really important to understand. And then here you've got your rib cage. Spine stops roughly there. I really like this actually. I'm quite proud of that. I'm quite proud of that. I should have done that more often. Because that shows you the body rhythm, right? Let's do it here. Everything. I'm going to try and do everything with regards to the body in red. So like we go like that, tick. Like so. The spine, I'm going to straighten it a little bit here. And now I'm going to add my rib cage. And then we've got our pose. You see? Again, I'll do it here. Hips, I draw as a funnel. Thigh bone, and then thigh bone going straight down. Curving the spine here. Adding the rib cage. I think that will help you quite a bit actually. And I'll do it again here. We've got our hips. Simplified, right? Oops, that should be higher. The back should be higher actually. Simplified, the hips look like this. Spine and so on. And then we have our thigh bone. Again, hips come higher, especially at the back, towards the spine here. It almost looks like a butterfly sort of shape. And then we add our thigh bone, and then we add our spine. Like so. That's important to understand. Oh, my leg's fine, mate. My leg is fine. Thank you very much. I'm doing all right. But be careful. Be careful. Front kick. I front kick you, mate. Can you show? Can I show hands? I think you mean can I show it? Show. I'll wait for you to write back again. Sorry. Sorry for the last time. Won't he seeing me again? No, you can stay. Don't worry, Astral. No, don't be silly. Don't be silly. It was just that. It was just one of those days where I just wasn't really in the mood, and it's like when people join the live and they mean well, they mean well, but it's not easy to do a live when people start criticizing, because then I'm quite a sensitive soul, right? Because I've got a plan in my head, and like I try to explain that to people all the time. I don't get everything right. Everything is not right on here, and anyone can join and say, "Well, that's not right," or "That's not right," or "That's not right," or "That's not right," or that. And this is not the point. The point of what I'm doing is it's not going to be right every time. I'm just doing the best I can to show you what I know. Proportionally, this is probably not 100%. What is ever 100% is the problem. And if I'm in a live and I'm reading here and I'm drawing here, I'm reading here, drawing here, reading here, drawing here, this is not easy. So if I make a mistake, it's because I don't know how much you draw, but if I'm drawing in my flow state, I draw like this. If I'm in I didn't draw this much in a live, only the shading I did in the live, but I didn't draw this in the live because I need to be in my flow state and not distracted. And sometimes if I get distracted, I find it hard to start at the beginning again. And then that's when I just say, you know what, I'm finished. It's just the way it is, because I can't find my rhythm again. It's the rhythm's gone, and I suppose it's almost like the mood is gone as well. Yeah, I'm not training at the UFC anymore. Not anymore. I'm finished. My ankles are hurting me. Too many Muay Thai fights. So, okay. Yeah, I've got hands on my... I'm going to stick to the body. No, I'm not going to draw hands because I like to stick to the one theme. And the theme that we're sticking to is body. If you join my YouTube channel, there's one on the hands there. I'm going to be strict now because I find that I'm always a bit soft, and then it doesn't benefit me because people don't like to come and see hands when they're expecting a body drawing tutorial. I'm sorry. So let's stick to one theme, if that's okay. Has anyone got any questions about what I'm doing? So what did I say? The spine making sure that you understand where that is the key. Now, so let's look at some foreshortening, like so. Now I've foreshortened this leg, so now we've got a delicate pose. You see that? So now we've got someone sitting. I'm drawing all over the place, as you can all see, but I'm going to draw this one again, and that is to do with foreshortening, right? So let's go into that now. Let's go a little bit into foreshortening. If, say for example, we have it's all about rhythm. Exactly, Centurion. It's all about rhythm. And that's why sometimes I might fade away and you might think I'm not paying attention to what's being said in the live stream. It's hard sometimes to be in and out like this. In and out, in and out. Huh? Do you study Will Eisner? No, I don't even know who that is, if I'm honest. I don't even know who that is. Thank you, Bronx. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining. Drawing is about rhythm. You lose it. It's yeah, it is. This is what I mean. And this is why this is why I'm thankful that I've got some really cool moderators, because they take the heat for me so I can just keep going. Because if I have to stop and talk and then argue with people, this is where it all goes wrong. So I'm not going to digress anymore. So look at this. We have I find this more important with regards to drawing females, actually, when it comes to body rhythm, because males, their stances are very strong usually. You know, if you're drawing a character, it's usually very strong. So I find it's more important to understand body rhythm when it comes to females. So if I've got, I don't know, 1, 2, I should have actually tilted that one. I'm going to tilt this one. And so here I've got 3 sets of hips, right? So I'm just going to tidy those up. Zack, zack. So we got 3 sets of hips. So if this section here, this is where we're talking about here, right? This is exactly where we're talking about. This funnel here is here. So now, we've done this before, but it's always important to remember it, always. So you have to imagine that the thighs, when you lift your knees up, your thighs look like this from the front. And then your knees belong here. Then you have a person sitting with their knees up. Roughly 90 degrees, right? Do you see my point? So it's important to understand that. Let's add the body just quickly, and then we can add a little bit of the calf muscle there, right? So there you go. So this would be a person sitting down in front of us, right? And then the hips would be a bit higher here if it was a female. So you have to imagine that anytime we're drawing the thigh, we are obviously drawing a cylinder. And you have to understand how this twists and where the front circle goes in relation to the back. Does that make sense? So this is twisting around here. Does that make sense? Yes, I am a teacher, yes. Yeah, I've been around. Where have you been? You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Does everyone get that? So say, for example, if I draw, okay, the same thigh here, I'm going to draw the second thigh close to it. The knee here, this knee here, I'm going to draw it here and here. Now we've got someone sitting I would say it's kind of a cute pose, right? So we've now got a cute pose of someone sitting like so. Is everyone getting that? See? Now we've got a cute pose. The legs were directly in front of us. So now we're going to do the same again. We go hip and we go thigh, right? And then, oh, let me think of a different one. I'm going to go knee to the front here. Thigh here. Knee to the side here. So this leg is straighter. Or this shin, I should say, is straighter. And this one is... So that's done to an angle. We're going to make that, close that up a bit. Like so. And then now, all of a sudden, can you see that? We've got a good set of poses. And the poses tell you different things. Just in the way that they're sitting. Let's do it again here. 1. I'm going to try and make this one up as I go along. 2, as I always do. And then I'm going to go knee here, like so. And then I'm going to go straight down-ish here. And I'm going to add knee here. Yeah, it's a bit messy. It's gone a bit messy. I should have... But you can see what I mean. But this hip is a bit too high here. It shouldn't be so tilted. It should be more flat. So I would have to correct that. But you can see that this thigh here is connected to here, and we now have someone sitting. This hip is actually in the wrong position. I'm going to correct that. That's my mistake. It should be straighter, just like these. And then we now have a young lady sitting with one leg over the other. So let's see what's going on in the chat. No. I'm going to use this one until it's dead. That was plenty of space. That was plenty of space. Who am I not giving attention to? Oh dear, over upset now. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, let me just scroll a bit first. And if I'm missing anything, thank you for cutting up the loose ends or cutting them off. Yeah, we had a bit of a weird conversation. She's not well, if you're talking about Mavi. Mazzy's not well. How you doing, Dwerk? Long time no see. You're good at drawing. Thank you, Silo. Thank you very much. And Sarah, nice to see you. You're late. Yes, I'm recording this one. Good, okay. So, any questions about what I've done up until now? What's the time? So, I'll probably do another 10 minutes. I don't want to make it too long. Right? So, we're talking about body rhythm, body rhythm, body rhythm. So bear this in mind, right? If you are drawing, it's tricky to try and make up things as you go along, without going too far. Let me see if I can make something up. So I'm just making a position or a pose up here. So now we've got, as you can see, I'm attempting to draw a person that is leaning towards us, right? It's just, I don't know, put the arms out here like they're flying, right? So you have to also imagine when you are drawing people or specific parts of the body, you have to start to work on how do these parts of the body look when they're tilted. For example, if I've got the rib cage is like this, what I should do, and I don't do it enough, what I should do is draw it like this, right? Then you draw it from the side. You don't have to do this every day, but it's just good to have it in mind, you know. That should be actually the same size. Let me just make sure that's the same size. So you can see these projection lines. So, tuck, 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 and we're good. Right, so this is the same rib cage from the side. So now I have to think about, okay, what would the rib cage look like from the top? It would look something like this. Do you see what I mean? And that's important. You have to start to break down your body parts in different positions. If you do one of these again, could you do the male? So the male body, well, we can do it now, no problem. So if you're struggling with the male body, right, you have to learn it from all angles. And I usually say the male is a lot straighter than the female, right? So let's go straighter. So we're talking roughly 3 heads high from the head itself. Then this is more like a male body. This kind of shape here is more male than female because it's simply straighter. Obviously we have to round off our rib cage and so on. That's obvious. And then we add our obliques. But you can see that's quite a masculine body. It's not we're not going to go there. But it's quite a straight body. And then if we drew the same proportions roughly, the female would be like this, and then obviously the hips would go higher and the shoulders will become narrower. So that's what I'm trying to achieve here. And then let's draw the same sort of proportions. So then you can see we've got a smaller rib cage and we've got a very much more feminine looking body shape. But that's because of the wider hips. And I know I've exaggerated it a little bit too much, but you get what I mean. Like so. Obviously the neck, you have to bear in mind that the male neck, not always, but chances are the male neck is a lot wider. It's a bigger set of muscles, and the shoulders are a lot stronger. So these are the little things you have to play with, but you can see that there are typical things that you can really just latch onto, and it helps your artwork straight away. So it's always important to remember what gender you're drawing, if I'm allowed to say that, and then you can work on it straight away from there. Zack. Thank you very much for the gifts. Anyone got any questions? I hope that helped you. Did it help you? Oh, that's good. Yeah, so that's the hip position, right? So males have squarer, flatter hips. Women have higher and wider. And that you are on the right track. So the male is very straight. This is really straight. In fact, extremely straight. And the females are more curvy like so. Not sure what you mean. Not sure what you mean. The high and long thing. Not sure what you mean. Excuse me. Please rephrase that. Maybe I can help you. Excuse me. Mid-centered. We can do a little one now, a short one. But I did do. Have I not done one on YouTube? I think I've done one before. But that's quite a big subject. But I can just touch on it very quickly. I think you should just understand how to basically, if you can contour a ball shape, then you're halfway there to contouring muscles. Because if I extend this ball shape into a shoulder, first thing you have to understand is where the light source is. So it would be here. So the same light source, let's make it here. Secondly, where do we put our shading? If you like what you see, please hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel and you are learning something from this, you could help me by subscribing to my YouTube. And that would help me because I'm in a position where I'm probably going to do less and less lives like this. And unfortunately, it's because not getting as much support as I would like to have. So it's a give and take. So I'm happy to do this for free and help people, but as you can see, I'm slowly not doing as many lives because at some point I need to get a little bit back from my community, and I know there are a few people that are not joining and quite happily asking questions and stuff like that, and that's why I'm doing even less and less. So unfortunately, It's going to all change, unfortunately. So let me see what's going on here. Did that help you? So going back to the muscle thing, you just have to understand where your light sources are, and you have to understand where your muscles contour, and then you get that pop on your artwork. And if you're building tone, don't build tone by colouring it in black, really hard. Build up your layers of lines. That's nice. Then you can get a smoother transition, like so. Sorry, I'm coughing. Yeah, I need to drink something actually. Lovely. Yeah, don't worry. I'm not crying. I know it looked like I was crying, but I'm not. No, I'm not getting upset. So good. There you go. And then you would build up on your muscle groups and keep going from there. So what's happening? Let's see what's going on. Quick question. What is your camera setup? It's all in it's all done in TikTok Studio. Excuse me, I had to think about it myself. It's all done in TikTok Studio. Nothing else. I've only got a computer and phone. The phone is here, the computer's here. Yeah. Yeah. No. It's not about going live at the same time of the day. It's to do with there's a few factors. That I've got a good community. I have to say I've got a good community. I've built a very strong, good community, but it's to do with the fact that I don't get paid for what I do. So I don't know if anyone here goes to work and doesn't get paid for it. So I need to find another solution. I don't mind doing this for free. I do it for free. Remember that. Because sometimes I walk off at live and it's pretty much whatever, 2p for whatever, 2.5 hours. Let's call it that. Because I don't ask for gifts from anyone and stuff like that. It's a case of I need to rethink my business model. That's what it is. It was all well and good, but as soon as I found out that I was not going to get paid, but even by TikTok, then this one threw a spanner in the works for me. Yeah, and I had to work that out all myself, mate. I had to work it out all myself. Yeah, that wasn't easy. When I had to work that out, oh, I didn't have anyone to ask. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. We'll see, we'll see. I'm sure I'll work it out in the end. That looks like an odd shaped head, but it's actually the body that's drawn underneath. Never mind. So anyway, I think we've covered this subject to a good level. Has anyone got any questions before I sign off? I'm going to go into my garden and I'm going to I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but let's just show you guys how to randomly sketch body parts and how I do it. This is a very curvy one by the looks of things. I don't know why. Calm down, lads. Calm down. Calm down. So this is how I like to sketch things up. Sometimes I just sit here and just think, okay, well, let me think about drawing, I don't know, someone kicking. Let's say kicking, like so. I'm going to check the proportions afterwards. Or let's, yeah, I probably haven't got enough space as usual. Probably a bit of that. Okay, I'm just going to have the knee sort of here. Yeah, let's put that foot back here. It's a bit of an odd pose because I've run out of space. You know what? I'm just gonna put it up there. Whatever. I've run out of space. And then obviously what I do if I'm drawing someone kicking or something like that, you have to check out reference images as well, just because when the right leg goes forward, the left arm goes back, that kind of thing. You have to work out these body mechanic things because the weight gets distributed. That's a pretty mad kick, but you get my point. And I would probably look at reference first. Probably wouldn't just draw someone kicking like this. Good. Good night, everyone. Well, I think it's a good time to sign off anyway. Everyone's gone very quiet, so thank you to everyone that joined me. That was quite a cool live stream. I hope you learned something from that. The best thing to do is constantly practice putting or drawing your hips in different positions, and also adjusting where the actual the thigh, where it belongs, and how you can make it look a little bit more dynamic. Like here, I'm just doing something really quickly, adjusting positions just to see, okay, how does that look? And I find that when you've got that framework right, then you're on the right track. Good. You too, Flower. Thank you very much. So anyway, that's good. I'm going to say, wish you all a lovely evening. Thank you to all that joined me. I hope you learned something. I will post this over the next day or so, and if you wish, you can check that out, and I will call it body sketching. Good. Thank you, Kim and V. Much appreciated. As always, we will get through this, mate. We will get it. We just have to be patient, and we will see what tomorrow brings. Take care. Have a good one, guys. That's probably the last one for the day, if I'm honest. I've got a lot to do, so have a good day, and I hope things pick up for you, mate. Take care.